Hey friends, it's Akidearest, and I have just recently watched the new released season of Aggretsuko on Netflix. It was good. It was really good. Dude, I was fucking dying. This is probably news to some of you that didn't know that Aggretsuko does have a second season. It is available now on Netflix. There's only 10 episodes and each episode's only 15 minutes long, so you could knock out this season in about maybe 2 hours. And you know what? I watched it in dub and I didn't really mind it. Now, for those of you that did binge watch it already, here's the time card for all spoilers and all the reviews that I have of this, but this section is going to be spoiler free, so for those of you that are curious about Aggretsuko Season 2, they do bring in all of the classic characters. Of course, Aggretsuko's still going to be yelling at the top of her lungs, and this season is going to bring in some new characters, so you're going to see Aggretsuko's mom and some new employees that are hired into the office. A lot of the new characters that are introduced are going to be carrying a lot of the story in Season 2, and as far as the comedy in Season 2 goes, it's not just going to be Aggretsuko screaming at the top of her lungs. I really like that even though that's sort of a thing that they kind of have to keep going, it's not dragged out, and they make even newer jokes that are so relatable because it's something that you will really only understand as an adult that has worked a job, specifically a job that you really hate, having to put on a smile in front of people that you really want to just... Even though it's so short, they pack so much in it that it really is just worth that short ride through Aggretsuko. And this time, it's not just her struggles as an employee at her workforce, but they go outside in her daily life where she's trying to find love, take on more responsibilities, where her mom also has to kind of dive into her life every now and then. Actually, a lot. Oh, yes, and the other thing about Aggretsuko Season 2 is there is a lot more cursing, and you can tell that they kind of got a little wild like halfway through. They sort of peeked it in there. I don't know if the staff was like, do you think we could say the word bitch? Yeah? Okay, let's keep doing it. I mean, Aggretsuko doesn't become like a sailor and just start saying at the top of her lungs every 10 seconds, but they kind of squeeze it in there just to make it even more relatable that, you know, sometimes you just gotta get a microphone and just scream out the word at every single person in their cubicle. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, you probably saw me post about this, and this is still the spoiler-free section, so I'm going to be as vague as possible, but only Aggretsuko would ever make me fangirl over a donkey. When you see this character come out, you might not think much at first, but as the story goes on, is he best boy? Can we make him a candidate for best boy of the year? He's got such a good personality. It's so likable. I know that this sounds very strange for those of you who probably haven't seen it, but think of like that moment when you saw Lola Bunny. Now take that and almost kind of apply it to the donkey. I know that's really vague, so just go watch it. Now we are in the spoiler section of this, and if you're carrying on from the spoiler-free section and you still haven't watched it, I'm just going to yell at spoilers at the top of my lungs in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm so sad that Retsuko and the donkey didn't get together, but it makes sense. I get the message that they're getting across, and I totally agree with it. But that donkey was like so... I should stop calling him the donkey. His name is... Tadano is such a good character because he's coming from such a good place, and there was so many things that he had in common with Aggretsuko, with Retsuko. The difference between Season 1 and Season 2 was that the guy that Retsuko was seeing first, the one that looked like her that was also a red panda, I think, you could automatically see that they were just not compatible, and she was sort of forcing something that she knew was never gonna work out. And then Season 2 comes and she meets Tadano, and you see how much they click right off the bat, and even all the characters around them see that they click off the bat. He comes off at first as like the slacker, he has no job, he has no ambitions, and Retsuko's almost a little bit turned off, but at the same time she finds him quite charming. But then she finds out that he's essentially this millionaire genius that is about to change the entire world, has his own ambitions, has a set goal in his life, and eventually she's like, oh, so this guy really does have his head on straight. Let me give it a shot. And you see how close they are. He says he's not into marriage, and that's fine. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't into it. He has a different goal for himself, and really at the end of it, this was all just about incompatibility. He wants to change the world and doesn't want to be tied down with marriage and kids because it would distract him from what he really wants to do. While Retsuko, she wants a simple life, and there's a lot of people that like that. And these people, or animals, were different from each other, and I guess they just couldn't, you know, work it out. And it's just so sad because at the end, they don't make it easy for either of them, and that's probably as real as it can be. I mean, if they know in the long run that their lives are pretty much going to be torn apart, why would you obligate yourself to stay in this relationship? Hi, Aki from a different time here as I'm editing this video. I guess the one thing that I actually wanted to point out really quickly is that this anime really is just about Retsuko trying to have responsibilities and trying to figure out what she really wants in life. And the interesting thing about Tadano is that he is the perfect guy who had the money, who had the fame, who treated her with love and respect, but because of just one big thing, it really was kind of the crossroads of whether or not she wanted to do things for him or really just for herself. I think there's a lot of people, especially nowadays, that would have gone with Tadano for just mere convenience of probably what it would have brought you in life financially, but because it went against the one dream that Retsuko had for herself, I think it's really cool instead that she did reject him at the end, because it only shows that she was being very genuine with herself and her feelings, because that's very important in life, and I really wanted to get that out. Okay, back to me. I know I got ahead of myself just talking about the second part of Aggretsuko season 2, but that really kind of like, really hit me, man. So we're just playing it reverse. I'm gonna talk about the first part about Aggretsuko because I want to talk about Anai and I want to talk about Kabae, the hippo girl. So the company hires Anai, who is this new worker who obviously is kind of new to just working, and he's so pressured and he's so stressed out and paranoid about his fellow co-workers. He doesn't even know how to answer the phone correctly, and so the boss relies on Retsuko to kind of train him along the way, and she realizes that he's really slow, he's very tense, and so she decides to kind of keep things slow and say, okay, you know what, just sit here for a bit, let me just take care of these things. But he takes everything she does to a whole different level and sends her emails being like, oh, I took this so personal, you better email me right away or I'm going to report you to the boss or headquarters. And Retsuko, being that kind of the passive and submissive person that she is, she doesn't really know how to fight back or really make a statement because she's worried that anything she says will be taken out of context and it'll become even worse for her. Personally with me, I mean, I would have just said it straight up to the guy in a professional way. If it's gonna be on email or a text message, I would have been like, bro, all I'm saying is that you could do a lot better, and I understand that you're just new, but just trust me on this, that I'm here to help you as much as I can, so take a chill pill and f*** off. Sincerely, Aki. I think if Retsuko was so hesitant to reply to him, that she should have at least just reported it to somebody to talk to him. Even Haida, she's so close with him, why couldn't she just do that? Her best friends are the assistants of like the head guy. I don't know why she couldn't tell them right off the bat. Now fast forward in the anime, and most of the workers, including the boss, understand that Anai is a very hard person to talk to without trying to blow up in everyone's faces. And here comes Kabae, the hippo. And again, I didn't like her in season 1, but what they did to her in this particular section of the anime really made me love her. They kind of go into her backstory saying that she is the mother of 3 kids. She picks them up after work and she always has a smile on her face and always tries to make the workplace a good and healthy environment for everybody. So she sees this new worker and how tense that he is, and although we don't know where that conversation went, eventually you see that they are getting along and she's teaching him very slowly, giving him more confidence, and sometimes with people that is what it takes, and they need somebody there to just kind of mommy them just a little bit more. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, that really wanted Anai fired just for the way that he was acting, and it seems like everything he was doing would be eligible to get fired, but if you've ever kind of assisted with a manager before, you'll know how much of a pain it is to go through the process of firing when you have just hired someone, and then you gotta go interview again, put them on payroll, do all this paperwork, and sometimes you just can't be bothered. Also, this is supposed to represent a Japanese company. How is it that some of these people are just not coming into work for days without any notice? And I think they were gone not even just for 1 day, but for 3 days, and the boss and everyone's just like, oh yeah, I don't know why they're not showing up. Normally even that I think you would get fired for. So who knows, maybe he just didn't get fired because this company just sucks all around. This is kind of a small thing, but I always did kind of chuckle whenever Anai gets like really under pressure and he's about to text somebody. He makes that face that's like, if you don't reply to me, I swear to God, I'll kill you. If you guys haven't seen Aggretsuko, please go watch it. You will relate to this anime in so many freaking ways that you cannot even imagine. Even though it looks like something and sounds like something that is just for kids, watch. You will connect with almost every character that you see in here. Well, except maybe the kangaroo guy that just says protein a lot. That donkey was bae. Donkey. Onions have layers. So I appreciate you guys for watching and subscribe to my channel for anime, otaku, and Japanese related content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!